Papa told me I couldn't do a lot of things.
I feel like I'm the chosen one.
Look at this. We created this. This didn't exist before we were here. All we are is proud and passionate. I love Toronto. I love this team. And we're going to the NBA Finals. Let's go!
Nothing matters but winning.
Welcome back to episode 57 of Rapzville Weekly. I'm your co-host Gabriel, alongside
Adam Casucci.
And today we have two regular season games to bring you, a back-to-back. The first game was the Toronto Raptors versus the Golden State Warriors, and the very next night, Toronto took on the Portland Trail Blazers, and this ended up in 2 losses. So our record is now 2-8, and we got a lot to talk about as usual. But before we get to that, as always, please like and subscribe. Check out our Instagram at Rapzville, and leave your comments down below. We want to hear your opinions on the Raptors' play so far.
Yeah, so Sunday night we had a matchup with the Golden State Warriors. The Raptors land back in the losing column after this one, after a nail-biting loss, 106-105. Raptors shot 14 of 22 from the free throw line, which was devastating when trying to claw back into the game. Also, rebounding was an issue, giving up 12 offensive rebounds and 51 rebounds overall. Even Golden State, they had a big lineup out there, but that's no excuse. We got to keep on doing the same things that we were supposed to do in the past. To keep getting rebounds, to keep boxing out our guys, and rebounding as a team especially. But despite doing that, we did grab 13 offensive boards ourselves. And Gabe, do you think that when opposing players see our small lineup, they try to put as much pressure on the glass as possible, and by doing that, it also creates opportunities for our offense to get in transition because of how many people are committed already? So what's your opinions on that take?
Well, they definitely could if they would like. I'm sure this game we started Pascal at the 5, and they had James Wiseman, roughly 7-foot rookie. I'm sure Golden State is confident enough in his ability to, attack the inside like they did, feed him quite a bit, but also get rebounds and such. And they had a pretty big lineup considering they got, I think, Kelly Oubre at the 2 on the starting lineup. So they had size. Any team like them could put the pressure on us because we've been pretty bad rebounding. And yeah, if we get the tough rebounds, it definitely can open up room for transition, but I don't think that was the case this game because we just struggled to score, especially in the first quarter.
Yeah, mentioning the first quarter, how do the Raptors get off to better starts? That's been a question all season long because we're constantly getting outplayed in the first half, and is it something Nurse has to do in the pregame speech, or are they just coming out flat? Are they just missing shots in the first quarter, not being prepared for the game? What is it?
It's very hard to say. I think offense, it's clear that we were struggling a bit in the first quarter of that game and games past as well. But defense, to me, I think is the bigger problem. You think of the Sacramento game, we were down 43 points in the first quarter, and it seems like that's a little bit of a trend is that it's hard to stop guys. Luckily, we were able to keep Curry on a quiet for the whole game, but for the most part, though, their team as a whole, they did play better than us for the first half at least. So it seems like our defense has to really clamp up as well.
Yeah. Warriors played, better basketball, 30 assists, while the Raptors only had 20. And we can't be relying on this rabbit out of the hat every fourth quarter. It's not going to work every game. We can't rely on these comebacks every game to get wins. It's not going to be efficient down the line and through the season. But officiating, once again, who are these refs? I didn't even recognize one familiar face, to be honest, from the reffing crew. Bringing it to the last play of the game, I wanted to talk about when the ball was inbounded into Damian Lee's hands. He double clutched and then flailed his legs like he was in gymnastics. Like it wasn't even a proper shooting motion. I don't understand how that foul could be given, but they did call a foul on Fred at first, then changed it to Lowry. Because they called it a Lowry reach-in foul before he went up. So just a regular foul that put Golden State in the bonus to take 2 shots. So then they convert the 2 shots, Damian Lee. Toronto calls the timeout. Nurse is being put under a pressure situation again, trying to drop a play and deciding who to give it to in the final possession. All right, he goes with Siakam. He's had a great game so far, playing well throughout the whole game, but he knows in the fourth quarter what his past has been traditionally. I haven't seen him have many big games in the fourth quarter, like as a Raptors fan throughout his whole career. Like that one moment in the Golden State in the finals, in the Game 6. That's the one big moment that I've seen him have in that fourth quarter, and maybe the Phoenix Suns buzzer beater there. But that's basically it. I mean, so they ended up giving it to him. They had a different kind of spacing with Siakam behind half, and the plan being for him to run into the paint kind of with speed, maybe to draw a foul or something, but that's not what he did. He did a spin around jumper at the top of the key with a high contest, and it just rims in and out. I mean, that's not the shot you want with that amount of time left on the clock. How much was it? 5 or 6 seconds left on the clock? Like, it's just so much time that to make a play like that, it's got to be a better option, a more efficient play, and they got to work on these things in practice. I'm sure they do, but it's not working in the games. They got to mix things up, give different players a shot. I mean, Freddie should be handling the ball in that situation, and he should have been put in the role with Pascal Siakam, and he should be touching the ball at the end. And a lot of people are saying to Nurse that he should be touching the ball at the end. He's been our clutchest player for the longest time, right? So I don't know. It's a lot of opinionated things there, but apparently it was a plan B, Nurse said in the post game. And and I think maybe that he did want to go to Fred at first. If you can see, Fred set a screen, Powell wrapped, and then Fred ran to the ball trying to receive it, but he was then cut off. So I guess the plan B was, if that wasn't good, if that play didn't work out, go back to Siakam and then run it from there. So I guess that's what they did, but we didn't get the best result. Obviously a miss and another loss.
Yeah, I think for sure Pascal was a fail-safe for them. They had OG, Norm, and Fred kind of all doing these different kind of screen and roll. And you saw Draymond, he was kind of conducting his guys, watch the cutback or watch the corner. Like he was directing traffic there. And it looked like we were trying to get some motion, and Pascal was backcourt in case nothing was open. Without getting the 5 seconds, play it backcourt and let's get the play rolling. I just checked, there was 4.3 seconds on the clock. So not the most amount of time, but definitely enough time to make some type of action happen. And like you said, I think the biggest thing there was he took a pretty crappy shot for a game winner, especially not one of his caliber. He was doing amazing for most of the game, driving to the rack. He looked confident out there. So why not do that again? Why not drive? You got a head of steam. You're coming from the backcourt. You have long legs. You like that run in transition. So when you're running that full court, you got to use that speed, use momentum. Try drawing a call, making a layup, or even if you were going to shoot it, at least pull up straight on. Why are you turning around? You're not looking at the basket anymore. You're off balance by doing a spin fade. You're making the shot more difficult on yourself. I didn't really like that attempt at the game. It was close. It went in and out, but still obviously didn't end up with the result we wanted.
Yeah, also, I don't like that Siakam shot because if he did get into the paint and did get double-teamed by any of the Warriors players, I don't think he even would have had enough time to kick it back out to make a play. That's why I think inbounding in the front court is always the best in those short clock situations. Moving on to the Warriors players, I mean, they had a good game. I mean, Steph Curry was ultimately locked down. That was the tale of the story by Fred VanVleet. Curry went actually 2 for 16, probably his worst game of the season for sure. But the announcers were also talking about that Curry obviously wasn't having a great game, but he was still contributing to the team by moving the ball. He was being a great leader. He was being the floor general as well. Even though he wasn't scoring the ball, he was doing other things on the floor to set his teammates up for a good position to score, right? So he didn't have the best game, but overall did well. James Wiseman, 10 points, 7 rebounds out of 5 for 7 shooting. Very consistent for a young big, and I think Kerr should have used him more. Draymond Green, almost a triple-double, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. He's always the leader on the defensive end for the team and very underrated. I think he doesn't have the skill to match up to a lot of the all-stars in the league, but he does have the IQ and he has a lot of late game tactics that really work. And you saw, Gabe, what you said about Draymond Green orchestrating the defense to help them get the stop on the last play. Kelly Oubre, 5 for 14. I don't know what's been going on with that guy this season. He's been off. I think he started, 0 for 22 from 3. He's been horrible, but he got 12 points this game. And Andrew Wiggins had a decent night, 17 points, 7 for 17 shooting, and he kind of shook loose of the Raptors defense there. But the problem, I think, once again, was the bench. You got Damian Lee putting up 13 points in 15 minutes. You got Eric Pascal, who made a huge impact on the game, coming off the bench, using his physicality on the inside to get and ones and buckets on the inside. So 15 points for him. And the Warriors I think they just gutted it out here. They played the better team game overall, and the Raptors just couldn't come out with it.
Yeah, they played better than us for 3 quarters. We were lucky to bring it back a bit in the fourth, but like you said, the bench players were quite good for the Golden State Warriors. Wiggins and Wiseman started out strong against us, and luckily we were able to keep Curry at bay. Definitely one of his worst shooting nights, but you can see that he still made an impact. Making the right passing plays, hitting that late 3 at the end of the game, coming up clutch when it mattered to keep them alive. So obviously, they still had enough performances to get by in this one, and we really should have capitalized on that comeback, the momentum, and it's a real shame we didn't.
Yeah, it's a tough loss for the team, and then kind of brought us into a horrible momentum into the Portland game. But now speaking about our Raptors players, Pascal overall minus the final shot. I thought he had a great night, 25 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists on 9 for 19 shooting. And he's really showing that playmaking ability more. I think he's having his head up more, seeing the play around him, and not kind of just having that tunnel vision going straight to the basket. And I played 40 minutes, gave it his all tonight. Just once again, I don't even think it's his fault. I think it's also Nurse's fault for giving him those opportunities over and over again. I know that if you want to build his confidence, you got to do that. But I just don't think he's the guy to do it with. Norman Powell, I thought he had a decent night, 9 points, 3 rebounds, but we need more from him. That's all we got to see. It's a decent night, but for a starting lineup player, he's got to be producing at least 15 points, at least, because he's not. I don't think he's been playing as well as defense as he has been in years prior. I think that has dropped off a bit, and he's really focusing on his offensive game. So if he's not bringing that consistent defense, he's got to be giving more on the offensive end.
Yeah, Pascal, clearly, he had decent plays, I would say. He had some flashy passes. He was getting more aggressive and confident when driving, which is what I really like to see. But obviously starting at the 5, it looked like he couldn't really hang with Wiseman. So the lineup had some weaknesses, especially at the beginning of the game when they really looked to that. But this game especially, I think he settled for a lot more jumpers. We kind of wanted him to stay away from that. And this game, he kind of introduced the 3-ball a little bit, some middies, and they were falling. Some of them were falling, so it was decent, about 50% from the field for him. So that's okay. But there were stretches where he struggled to score and missed way too many free throws. I think that's becoming a trend for him. 5 for 9 from the free throw line. I think he missed 2 of them in the fourth quarter. So I think that's something he definitely has to clean up, especially in the fourth quarter, man. We can't have missed free throws. And he wasn't the only one this game. And Norman Powell, I think Norman Powell, his winning streak came to an end of whenever he started him winning. And I think maybe he has to just be more consistent, honestly. And in terms of defense, Wiggins obviously had a field day. I believe that was his matchup for the most part. So that's something he also has to clean up.
Yeah, Powell, the consistency, we need it from you, man. This is the time we really honestly need it. And another guy that we need it from is OG Anunoby. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist on 4 for 12 shooting. I just got to keep on talking about that corner 3 because so many times the ball gets kicked out to him in that corner 3. And either he passes it away, hesitates, or just it doesn't go in. He just shoots it and it misses. And it's so draining as a team to play such a great offensive possession like Kyle, Fred. They'll make great passes and they'll move it around the perimeter and then they'll drive, kick to him. And then it's just it's a big shot. The play was so good. The build-up was great and you just can't make it. It's just devastating. And the team really, they feel it when you miss shots like that wide open in the corner. He's got to really work on that corner jumper, and I think that's part of his development. If he can get those threes to fall, everything else, like I said, once again, opens up for him. So I think that's really the part with OG.
Yeah, simple as that. He struggled a little bit this game, and he just missed too many shots. 4 for 12 from the field. It's just not good enough. Simple as that.
Moving on to Kyle Lowry, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 for 14 shooting. Just another tough night for Kyle. I mean, he's doing his best. The guy's not a point getter, man. He's not a walking bucket. He's a guy that will get you points by just pure determination, pure hustle. Don't get me wrong, the guy has a lot of skill, but you can't be expecting him to put 25, 30 plus. every game. Like, he can't happen. It can't happen. He's going to have his shooting slumps like everyone else. And he's just doing his best to get points on the board for the team and keep the offense kind of ticking along. And then you got Fred VanVleet with another awesome game. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 9 for 20 shooting. The consistency continues for Fred here. And it's great to see. The vision of his passing is amazing. And I thought he played great tremendously all game. Played great D on Curry. And then he had to face Lillard the next night. So he had a long night.
Yeah, so Kyle Lowry, honestly, I don't want to sugarcoat it. I think he had a bad game, and I was disappointed in the game. We don't know what really was the reason that he sat out the earlier game. Personal reasons, it's still labeled as. And, I think it must be something important. Hopefully nothing bad, but it must be something serious because it looked like it affected his game a lot. Those first 3 quarters, he sucked. He couldn't make anything. He was missing a lot of shots, didn't contribute much to the team, and he needed a good waking up. Fred told him, wake the F up, man. This is it. We have a comeback that we're about to start here. We got to bring it back. We've lost every quarter so far. It's now or never, or we're going down. And, he came out playing hard. He was aggressive. He drove to the rack. He was making buckets. He made a couple threes, I think. He did what he could, and I'm glad that he woke up in that fourth and he showed a lot of heart. But he also missed 2 big free throws in the fourth quarter, missed both. And then after that, right at the end of the game, he took a really bad 3-point shot, and I think it barely grazed the rim or something like that. So it was a very tough game to watch from Kyle, and hopefully we don't get too many of these often. We don't know what happened behind the scenes, but hopefully it's nothing too serious. And in terms of Fred, obviously a fantastic night. He did well on both ends. Keeping Curry quiet was the base of the story there because Curry's been absolutely exploding the past couple of games. He had that 60 bomb and I think 38 another night. So that was the big thing for me was Fred's defense on Curry, but he even did it on the other end, 21-5-5. Can't complain about that.
Yep. And Kyle said also post-interview, he kind of whispered it, but he's like, I don't know where my head's at right now, because who knows what's going on, like you said, Gabe, and I kind of give him the pass for it tonight because everyone's got different stuff going on in their lives. Moving on to Boucher, 23 minutes, 15 points, 6 rebounds. You got to give the guy a chance, man. Nick Nurse, after the Portland game as well, he also said they were asking him, Chris Boucher, should he be in the starting lineup? Different reporters were asking the same question, and Nick Nurse kind of said, enough with the fixation with the starting lineup. And I kind of really feel bad for Boucher. The guy's proving that he should be in the lineup, and especially in the starting line. The rotation, okay, I get it. He's a great guy off the bench, brings energy, but give him the chance like you gave Lennon Baines. Come on, Nurse. Give him the opportunity. He's been doing it every night. He's given you almost 15 plus, literally every night. Rebounds the ball, blocks shots like crazy. The rim protection, the energy is great when he's on the floor. What else can you ask for with a guy like this, like Chris? And I just thought he had a great night, and he really made a really big difference. He did get fouled out late in the game though, which was pretty disappointing. I think at the 1:30 mark of the fourth quarter. And I thought they actually would have won the game if he didn't foul out because of how much he was impacting the game.
I agree. That's exactly what I was about to say. Boucher, as always, played great on both ends, fought valiantly for his minutes. He proved why he should be on the floor. Man, on the defensive end, 6 blocks. That's absolutely astonishing. You don't see that often. That's like Miles Turner numbers, the only guy that's putting up those. And he had one on Curry, keep him out of the paint. That big one against Wiggins, who was driving in, he swatted the heck out of that right back to half court practically. His defense was incredible. Protecting the paint was fantastic. And on the other end, he was showing off great energy as well. I think he made a tough and one that one play. He's proving his worth on this team. And like you said, I understand the case for the bench, why he's great off the bench. And as long as he has minutes, I'm okay with that. But I do think once in a while he deserves to start just for his own confidence and knowing that he is one of the focal pieces on this team on both ends of the floor, especially at the big man position. I think it's more personally for him, and it depends on the matchup. Like here, Wiseman, who's a big player, I think you could have taken your chances and going Boucher instead of Pascal at the 5. But obviously the big thing for me is the minutes.
Yeah, because he's a mismatch, like you said, on the offensive end. to some of those big paint centers, right? So it kind of goes both ways as well. Moving on, Davis, Flynn, Johnson, Watanabe, and Harris had very little impact on the game. Together, they combined for 8 points, and it was just Nick rolled with a 6-man rotation, playing the starters and Boucher for most of the minutes, and kind of just sprinkled in those 5 guys throughout the game.
Yeah, nothing crazy from any of them. Personally, I like Watanabe in the way he plays, so I'm just going to make a quick comment on him. He started off with a decent stretch in 8 minutes. He had 2 points, 2 boards, an assist, and 2 blocks. But then near the end of the third, he had this bit of a collapse where he made a series of mistakes and bad plays that could have ultimately cost us the game, and it finished off his time for the night. He had 2 turnovers in the game. One of them was that late third quarter. And there was a play where he stepped out of bounds. That was a turnover, and then he forgot to box out his man on the defensive end, missed a shot. It was like a series of bad plays that kind of took him out for the night. And, I think he has potential to be a solid role piece for the team, especially because of his defensive ability, effort, especially on the glass. But I think obviously, maybe more minutes or chemistry wise, there has to be some type of adjustment there, because there was a pretty crappy couple of minutes to watch from him.
Well, so now moving on to the Trailblazer game, the Raptors crumble under pressure for the second straight game, losing 112-111 to the hot Portland Trailblazers, who have won 3 in a row now. In this game, I really thought the Raptors played great for the first 3 quarters for the most part, totally unraveled in the fourth. When watching this fourth quarter, you can feel the tension and hesitancy that the Raptors showed by their confidence when on the court. Everyone but Lowry and really Boucher didn't want to shoot the ball. And it was like hot potato out there and chucking up threes that were way too deep. We need to get into our offense, I feel, our actions just faster in the shot clock. Because we spend too much time on the offensive end, scanning the court to see where everyone is, where they're positioned, right? And also understanding which play we're going to run. So communication is key, and I think we got to really work on that to get everyone on the same page with the offensive plays.
Yep. Sadly, this game was kind of a little bit of the opposite of the Golden State game. We had 3 quarters where we did quite well, and it looked like we were the better team. We were winning for most of the game. And then in the fourth quarter, Portland brought the comeback, similar to how we almost did it against Golden State. And it shouldn't have gone down to the wire, simple as that. We had to lead most of the game. We should have been able to close this one out. We took some bad shots. Near the end of the game, we were up by 10, around the maybe start of the fourth, end of the third, something around that time. And we were up by 10. There's no point to be taking bad shots if you have that lead. And we were just taking 3 after 3 after 3, and they weren't falling. So naturally, you should be getting into the paint, but yeah, we kept shooting threes. And I don't know why we were forcing that type of shot when those are harder to make. And if they aren't falling especially, man, we don't want to keep shooting them. And we were, and we didn't need them. So that was one of the points I think that caused this game to spiral out of control.
Yep. Free throws were dominated by Portland, 25-12. So double the free throws for the Blazers, which came to effect later on in the game. And we always seem to be given less free throws in every game. I don't know if it's because we're not as aggressive when getting to the paint, or the refs just aren't giving us the benefit of the doubt really on the 50-50 calls. But the rebounding was split 42-42, so we did do a good job rebounding the ball. And the Raptors shot 46% from the field and 40% from 3. So definitely played well enough statistically to win the game. And I wanted to discuss the end game situation here with Siakam and Fred. I don't really know what Nurse is thinking after seeing the Golden State game and the way that panned out. I guess giving him another chance to show that Siakam is the starter, to try to make a bold statement to the fans and to the organization that he's the guy they're going to go with. Alright, so they give him the ball. Nick changes his perspective here. Instead of putting him in the backcourt, he literally puts him in the post position, which I do agree with. Siakam does 2 spin moves, does one to the left, does one to the right. And Covington did play a pretty good defense. I do respect the defense that he played on him. But Pascal Siakam did turn away from him and did get the open layup, maybe from 4 or 5 feet out. And just a little hook shot, all he had to do was drop it in, just rims in and out again. I think it's bad luck also, as well as just, I don't think he's the right guy to go with once again. That's twice now. It's not once that fluky time where he misses. It's twice. And, it's just not happening for Siakam. Give the ball to Fred, please, Nick Nurse in the clutch, and let him showcase his ability to have that clutch DNA and to make the right play, getting the Raptors some wins in these late game situations. Please, Nurse.
Yeah, I don't know why he keeps looking for it. Obviously, I like the setup a lot better than the Golden State one in terms of we had more time, and getting him to the post was a better option. But, that one, I honestly, it should have fallen. It's simple as that. It was a good look. He usually makes them. That was just, not being clutch. Too much pressure. Maybe threw it up too hard because he was nervous. Maybe threw it up too hard and it didn't bounce right. But that's a shot that he should be making. He would have made it any other quarter, I think, besides this one. And there was a great opportunity to make a bucket that play. When he got back down, there was a point where around, I think 6 seconds left, 5-6 seconds left, Dame almost came for a double team for a little quick second, and OG Anunoby should have been open in the corner, but he was hiding behind Lowry and Trent, so it kind of left him unavailable. And CJ McCollum was kind of, edging his way closer, so maybe it was an opportunity to kick it back out to Fred. But I just think that shot, it's just unlucky. I don't know if it's nerves that he threw it up too hard, but I think it was the shot that naturally would have went in. So it's kind of disappointing that it didn't, and we blew another game. But obviously, one shot shouldn't make or break this team, man. I get it, the clutchness, people are talking, Isaiah Thomas talking about it, but how do we get there? We were up the entire game. Why are we putting it down to one final shot? That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, the play before, Freddie didn't miss a three, came back down the other end, and McCollum hit a pretty nice mid-range shot over Fred. And I thought he played great defense on him. Just McCollum had the better offense, to be honest. And then, but honestly, what did you really learn? What did Nurse really learn from this game? Is he going to take those two misses into consideration and not go with him? Or is he going to keep on going to him, kind of pushing it forward into his hands and kind of making him get comfortable with the situation? And it's a really another opinionated thing where some people like Siakam kind of getting comfortable with it. Some don't. In my opinion, I'd rather just give it to Fred. He can do both. He can drive to the rim. He can shoot a deep shot. He's more comfortable shooting a deep shot if he can't get to the rim.
Yeah.
And that's what I think there.
I think Fred is better at the off-balance shots, the tricky shots, kind of just chucking it up and letting it fall. He has a better chance of making it than Pascal does, and that's probably just simply off of shooting mechanics and his ability to score. So I would have loved that to be in Fred's hands instead. Like you said, I hope the former of that statement is true, that Nurse learns from this and stops putting it in his hands. But, from the fans, we did a poll on our Instagram, and it came about 50-50 on some people still want to see Pascal get more chances on the game winners.
Yep. I don't know what people are thinking out there, but it's going to happen more and more, in my opinion, if we keep on giving it to him. And we'll see what happens. I'm not even hating. I'm just being straight up honest and being blunt. With what I'm seeing on the court, to be honest. And now we're tied for last in the NBA with a record of 2-8, and it's disappointing, man. We're tied with the raggedy ass franchise, like LeVar Ball said about the Detroit Pistons, and we're not in a good spot, and we got to really pick it up. There's no point of throwing in the towel and giving up now. We just got to keep on moving forward and find ways to win. And if the fourth quarter is going to be kind of our kryptonite, we got to deal with it. And kind of learn in the process while losing these games, right?
Yeah, I think we should go through these kind of quickly. But I just want to ask you, do you think we should have been a part of the move today? There was a huge move where James Harden is being sent to the Brooklyn Nets. Karis LeVert is moving to the Pacers with a second-round pick. Oladipo's moving to the Rockets. Jared Allen somehow ends up in Cleveland. Kurucs and some other pieces, I think, also move out. Terry and Prince. So there was a big move there, and somehow, Allen ends up in Cleveland where they already have Drummond. So do you think we should have found a way to be a part of that, maybe picking up Jared Allen, or is there any possibility maybe we could try setting up a trade for Drummond because the center position is kind of weak?
I know we are in the panic stage right now, and for sure we should have tried maybe looking at some of Brooklyn's role players. We could have went with Allen, we could have went with LeVert. One of those two guys would have been great. I don't think the Harden deal would have just suited us. We would have lost more depth. I think our bench would have been the same, and then we're just relying on Harden to just put up magic night after magic night. I don't think that's the way to go. But yeah, I think the Raptors historically, obviously Masai likes to sit behind the computer and just kind of let these trades go by, let it pass, and not really get involved, which is a good thing sometimes, but it can also hurt you in another way. While other teams strengthen their team, you're just staying staying the same, and you're not improving.
Yeah, fair.
So moving on to the Portland players. I thought, honestly, they had a great game, but CJ McCollum was honestly the sticko guy in this game. 30 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and that clutch shot over Vanvleet at the end. He got to the line 6 times, so he's working the officials as well. Did great. Nurkic got injured in the first quarter, so we didn't see much of him. 1 for 5, 2 points. Derrick Jones Jr. was held quiet with only 4 points. Covington, 7 points, 8 rebounds, but did play pretty good defense on Siakam in that final play. And Lillard kind of went off near the end. I know he hit a big 3 in the fourth quarter. I remember on the wing, step back, and it swished, and it was almost like a dagger. And that was a big shot from him. And then co-partner Carmelo Anthony, the veteran, once again hit some big shots. He hit another big one in the fourth as well in the quarter. And I think Portland's has a good kind of 3-player combo here with McCollum, Lillard, and Anthony all being able to hit clutch shots in the fourth quarter.
I think Anthony, although he's a little bit washed up, I think he was still a good pickup because no one wanted him. He didn't have to waste much money on him, and he produces decent numbers, hit some clutch shots. So did Dame as usual. But CJ was a standout player. Those difficult shots, he just makes them, man. 3s, 2s, doesn't matter. He could be leaning. He just lets them fall. And can't forget Enes Kanter as well was a huge problem for a good chunk of the night. 7 for 8 shooting, 14 points. Those putbacks were costly for sure.
Yep. Moving into the Raptors lineup, Alex Len, 9 minutes. Once again, does not register an offensive statistic. He did get 1 steal and 1 block, and I thought he played okay defense at first, but it's just not enough to keep him in the lineup. Did get benched once again. OG Anunoby, 18 points, 6 for 9, 4 from 6 from 3. I thought he shot the ball great, and once again, the 3-ball opened up other things in his game, and I thought that's why he did amazing tonight. Fred VanVleet struggled in the first half. I think he had 0 points and got all of his 10 points in the third quarter, but he did make some two good passes once again to Siakam in the dying stages of the game to get 2 dunks, and I thought that there were great plays under pressure when the shot clock was low. And but we just need more consistency from him throughout the game. But once again, I'm kind of contradicting myself because he has been the most consistent guy throughout the year. Just had a bad game. Siakam had the triple-double, played great, but the Raptors franchise is built on winning, man. If you don't win, none of these stats matter. That's the way it is, and Gabe kind of prided saying that his triple-double kind of made him the player of the game. I said it was great, but I think if you miss the game-winning shot and you do get the loss from it, I don't think you should be getting the player of the game. A lot of people can disagree because of what he did before to get the Raptors in this position, but I don't think that he gets the player of the game in my opinion. To me, it was Boucher with 20 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, came in once again with the energy, man. This guy, he hit 5 threes. Like, that's crazy. He's becoming a stretch big, and really has always been. He's been great in the G League, obviously, when he was there, got the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. He's not getting those awards for nothing. He's a great player, and he's just not giving the benefit of the doubt by Nurse. But he did get 32 minutes tonight, which was amazing. And Kyle Lowry, 5 for 17, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. I thought he played well in the first quarter of the game, but in the last couple, the second half especially, it was very tough for Kyle to kind of get going. And he only scored, I think it was 2 points in the fourth quarter, so it's just disappointing. Everyone's kind of shying away from those big shots in the fourth, and it's really getting sad now.
Yeah. So Alex Len, obviously supposed to start to match up against Nurkic. Once Nurkic was gone, no use for him anymore. Wiped it off the hands because once couldn't register a stat. He was kind of useless on the offensive end like usual, and that made sense. Boucher had 32 minutes because of this. So and Boucher played incredible in those 32 minutes. I'll give you that. 20 points, 8 boards, great shooting percentage, 5 threes and 3 blocks. Can't forget about that. He's been sensational all season, of course. He's the only person I think that could arguably be the player of the game. besides Pascal. OG had a great night, 18 points. We've been waiting to see solid nights from him, and he shot well this game. He kind of gave the performance that we need from him every night, so there was no complaints there. But Fred had one of his worst night of the season probably. Shot pretty crappily, 10 points, 6 assists, 4 for 13 shooting. Lowry, man, that shooting percentage was tough. I was hoping, I got him on my fantasy, and see him miss shots, it hurts, man, it hurts. So 5 for 17 shooting, 3 for 12 from 3. You just got to make more shots. He contributed a bit in the points and the rebounds, of course, great for a guard, but we just got to see better shooting percentages from him. But Siakam for me is the player of the game. 22 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. This was the most amount of assists he's had in his career. And like we've been saying, his playmaking has looked a lot better. His decision making, getting involved. He looks like he's always making decent passes. Sometimes they result in turnovers, but he always has his eye on the best pass to make. Especially this game, I thought he just played good on that sense. And rebounding, he's been big on that because our team has struggled in rebounds. He's really tried to step up for the team. And this game, 13 rebounds, well above most of the players in the team, so you got to give him credit in that sense. He shot about 50%, so nothing crazy, but he still put up 20 points, first ever triple-double. The only thing that really bothered me was that chance to win the game, but besides that, he had a fantastic night, definitely one of his best so far. So from my opinion, that's still worthy of a player of the game. And everyone else didn't do too much. Norman Powell played a little bit, had an average night. Stanley Johnson did decently, better results in the offensive end, getting more involved. And everyone else didn't play much. Terrence Davis and Harris didn't really touch the floor too much. So besides that, yeah, that's the team. All right, that's pretty much it. We hope you all enjoyed. As always, like I said, like and subscribe, leave your comments down below. And that's us signing out. Peace.